this is my next project. It was kind of inspired because I had lots of short lengths of Marri left, which you kind of really can't do that much with unless you want to build loads of shelves or shopping malls. So I'm going to try and do something pretty challenging that I haven't, well, I say I haven't seen yet a dining table of this size done in solid herringbone. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. One of the biggest challenges is the glue up. So I think I've kind of worked it out how to do it. But yeah, it's just trying to sort out the processes and see how it goes. So I've got edge grain to end grain here, glue ups which aren't particularly strong. So I'm going to have to use a few dominos in there. So I'll be gluing these up like that. So that'll be the first stage. And I'll do quite a few of them on their own, going back. And then when they're glued up, I'll then place them all in here and then pull them all together and glue them up together into one piece, and then tack on to the ends what I need. So yeah, let's see how it goes. A head scratching moment at the minute. It's just trying to figure out the center line. So obviously the center line will be between these two joints here. So you don't really want the center line on one of the points because then it will be weighted to one side. So we want the center line to run down the middle of these boards. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just work out what the lengths of these are that I need to cut them to, and then I can start approaching the glue up and take it from there. A few of these pieces that have been chopped off on the ends will fill in the gaps where bits are missing, so I think I've got enough timber. I might have a little play around, swapping a few boards around, try and get it a bit more balanced. It's a lot different approach to building a standard table where the boards all run parallel. But yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. So day 2 of the herringbone Marri table build. I've started a little bit without you. First off, I put the key piece in, which is this piece down here, and this is going to be the piece in which everything mates to and goes downwards. So I put a couple of dominos in here for registration, and because it's an end grain to edge grain joint, it gives it that strength. There was a problem initially, the panels weren't lining up straight, so I went back to the drop saw, rechecked my cuts, and it was like 0.4 degree out, which when I'm doing something like this is going to make a lot of difference. So I've I've tweaked the saw, and we're getting it spot on 90 degrees now, which is great. There's a few little pieces I've got to trim and square off the edges on. I've done one side, just got to do this side, and then go for a glue up. Because this is going to be a solid herringbone table, where you're going to see edge grain all the way around, unlike some herringbone tables which are made on a substrate like plywood or MDF, and then what people do is they put a beading of solid wood around the outside. I'm going for a full solid table. It's going to be supported on a steel frame, so that strength isn't an issue. It's going to be pretty strong anyway. But one of the things to bear in mind is the edges of this table are going to have to be docked, and the last thing you want to be doing is cutting for a biscuit or a domino. So it's always good to just remember where you put them near your cut lines, just draw around them, and then you can just make your cut just below that, and I'll do the same up the other end as well. So the domino machine has 3 settings for the width of the dominoes. It has the tight fit, a medium, slightly loose fit, and a very loose fit. I find the medium a little bit too loose, and for this the snug fit is too snug. So what I tend to do is I tend to do 2 passes, two cuts with the domino. So I mark a pencil line on here. I'll just do that to accentuate it. So what I do is I do my first cut just slightly to the left of the pencil line. And then my second cut slightly to the right of the pencil line. This gives you like 1 millimetre or 2 millimetres of slack, which is a lot less than with the medium setting. So as you can see, all the pieces of this table have had the dominoes cut. It's been test fit. Everything fits, which is good. When you get a bit of glue involved, sometimes things don't fit, so that's when panic happens, but hopefully this won't happen this time. What I've done here is this piece is the kingpin, which you might call it that. This is actually screwed to the bench. Reason being is that will almost be like our clamp in a way for one end of the table. So it'll be a process like this. We'll start with one piece going on, glued on there, one piece on there, like that, and it'll just be a big puzzle, and we just do it like that. When I get to stages like this, what I'll do is I'll then put a clamp in. There is no way of like physically clamping this whole table, so a way you can do it is just get a piece of wood, screw that to the bench top, and then cut some little door stops of wood, and then hammer them in, and then that will squeeze it up there, and we do the same there. I'll leave that for a little while, and then I'll put some more pieces in, bring this back and do it again, and work my way back down the table that way. So I'm going to do this glue up with the West Systems epoxy resin, just for the main reason that it's got a longer hold open time. It doesn't bite as much as wood glue does. So that gives me time to move the boards, fix the clamping system down, squeeze a few boards up. Yeah, I'll be using this stuff as well. It's a microfiber blend adhesive filler. What it does is it thickens the epoxy and makes it stick to the wood. It's got good gap bridging qualities as well. Make sure you're wearing a mask when you're using this in a ventilated place. It's pretty dodgy stuff, so just take your safety precautions. wear your PPE. But yeah, use shallow trays when working with epoxy. If you use quite a deep tray, you get an exothermic reaction which makes the epoxy go off a lot quicker than it's supposed to. So just getting ready for stage 3 of the glue up. Done 2 stages now. There's a few little things that I'm experiencing that I didn't kind of plan for on the way. So that's why I put these blocks in here, because I found that the boards were starting to slide out. So just putting those blocks in there to stop them sliding out, and then I can apply pressure here. And I think I'll just keep doing that as I go. Oh, it's pulling up really nicely now. Put these blocks in here, down here. Yeah, give it a good squeeze. Mix some epoxy up for the underside of the table. I've already been round and filled some of the bigger holes up with some builder's bog, which has been tinted black with some black oxide. So yeah, I just filled the big holes up just because when I do flip it over, I don't want the epoxy seeping all the way through the table, even though it normally does. So yeah, I'm just going to try and fill in some of these sap veins here and here with some of this epoxy, and then when I come to flip it back over the other way, if some of it is going to seep through, this layer here should stop that happening. There's some quite big checks here, so I'm going to try and get them filled up quite a lot. See this lighter wood here as well. This is all the sap wood on the Marri, which it's like the edge of the tree. It's a lot softer and more porous than the heartwoods. So I tend to give that a really good soaking, but it's just strengthens it up. So like, look at that. I mean, it's just gonna absorb this stuff like a sponge. You can just see it getting soaked in. So I've cleaned most of the epoxy off this table now. As you can see, it still needs a really good sand, but before that happens, what I do is I'll get the table finally cut to size, and then we'll send it away for a really good sand, and then come back and do some epoxy touch-ups. And then, yeah, and then it'll have enough sand after the epoxy, and then a finish, and then it should be done. So Should see some progress move pretty quickly after this stage. So I've just got a first coat of Danish oil on the table. As you can see, I put quite a heavy coat on. What that does is that just allows the oil to penetrate deep into the wood for the first coat. I'll let it sit for a while and then I'll dry it off with some rags.